Impacts of culture on mental health. Culture is all around us. We all belong to a culture, but what is it really? According to Britannica, culture is the behavior peculiar to Homo sapiens, together with material objects used as an integral part of this behavior. Thus, culture includes language, ideas, beliefs, customs, rituals, and ceremonies, among other elements. Essentially, culture is what unites people together with the traditions and beliefs a group of people share. Culture can have both a negative and positive impact on us. One way culture impacts us is by creating beauty standards. Beauty standards can vary from country to country, but in the end, it will always be some variation of being skinny and pretty. Wanting to achieve this, many young girls will end up with eating disorders. Past studies used to show that American women would be more likely to have eating disorders than minority groups, but since then, that has been proven false, as the rates are almost the same. Indeed, while researchers have recognized higher than previously documented rates of eating disorders among members of minority racial and cultural groups in the United States, some studies have found that these high rates are particularly prevalent among members of minority groups who identify most strongly with the dominant mainstream American culture. People are drifting apart from their cultures and assimilating more to the American culture. This is happening to many newer generations, especially children from immigrant parents. This can become a problem because when trying to fit into a new culture, you will try your best to look the same, eat the same, and act the same. But every culture has its different food and mannerisms, making this hard. These minority groups will try to fit into the American beauty standards, making it more possible for them to have eating disorders. They might stop eating food from their culture and even go as far as thinking that it can harm them and interfere with their hard work into fitting with other Americans. Recovering from eating disorders can be hard, and getting help from doctors can be even harder, especially as a minority group. But surprisingly, the way people are trying to help their eating disorders is through their culture's food. Understanding and learning the history that goes into each culture of food really gives you a different perspective when eating it. Letting go of the idea of becoming a certain way to fit in and just enjoying the food can make big changes within beauty standards. Also, teaching young kids the importance of food and to see the hard work that goes into each step, I think, will help lower the rates of eating disorders and increase the rates of embracing culture with the newer generations. Culture can also impact the way we perceive mental health issues. Many kids from immigrant parents can agree talking about mental health isn't the easiest thing to talk about. This can be because of many reasons, but most are related to culture. In many cultures, specifically Hispanic cultures, life has always been about working hard and making it to tomorrow. For many Hispanics, there wasn't any room for mental health issues. But the reality is, mental health issues has always been present and have even risen within the past few years. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, children who are discriminated against based on race or ethnicity had higher percentages of one or more physical health conditions and one or more mental health conditions. Cultural and social factors can impact a child's mental health. This too can lead to them becoming distant from their culture. Depending on the culture, seeking medical help from a professional can be difficult as it is hard to even accept the possibility of having mental health issues. Culture influences many aspects of mental illness, including how patients from a given culture express and manifest their symptoms, their style of coping, their family and community support, and their willingness to seek treatment. Telling these families that come from hard-working and possibly harsher times, saying you have a mental health issue can sound as an excuse to them or as lies. This can make the person form bad relationships with their culture. This is bad as it will not only make the person distant from their culture but also worsen their mental health. These bad relationships with culture can also be created in other ways, like through food. Nowadays, everyone is excited to try new foods from other parts of the world, like Asia or South America. But that wasn't common a few years ago in America and could even come off as a weird thing. Many kids were scared to take their cultural foods to school because they would get bullied. They could be told it smells bad or that it looks weird. This can cause many issues. It can become daily bullying for the kid, and they might not want to take those foods to school anymore. This can slowly make the kid more distant and separate from their culture. Many people since then have grown up regretting becoming distant with their culture. Ironically, the way they are trying to connect back is through food. Eating the foods they were once made fun of for can bring back sad memories, but it can also make them realize they don't have to be ashamed of the foods their culture has. Culture doesn't only affect the way you see food, it can also affect the way you see emotions and how you react with them. Cultural and social factors contribute to the causation of mental illness, yet that contribution varies by disorder. Culture can be the cause of mental health issues, but while this can be true, it doesn't mean to separate from said culture. Instead, it's to learn to embrace it in a different way. And the way some cultures help mental health issues is through food. Many people think food is medicine, and they are not wrong. Food can not only benefit us physically, but it can also help us mentally. The foods we consume have the potential to influence our health in profound ways. Many cultures are created around the idea of food. Many people are really appreciative and grateful for the food nature provides, and they even go as far as to have ceremonies and rituals for food. These things are reasonable to do as food is known as some of the best medicine since ancient times. The concept of food as medicine extends to mental health, as the food we eat can have a profound impact on our mood, cognition, and overall mental well being. Many cultures think food is the solution to many diseases and mental health issues. Much thought goes into what these cultures eat, so the body gets as many benefits as it can from a meal. While culture can be the causation to many problems, it can also be the solution to many. With culture being something we cannot get rid of and is evolving every day, we have to learn to embrace it. We might not always fully agree or understand all cultural beliefs, but taking a moment to understand the long hardships people have gone through to create these cultures, it can make you feel more grateful for them. Culture cannot be a definite bad or good thing, so making the best of it through food can be a great way to always feel close to home and to embrace your cultural background.